Infamously, we've seen what happens when a product releases overhyped and underbaked. Yeah. But then makes the greatest of comebacks by actually listening to its consumers and implementing new features. But what happens when you're served a perfectly proved Parisian pastry beloved by its customers? How do you then improve upon that? To find out how, we're going to take a look at the Bose noise-canceling headphones 700. Wait, what's that sound?
Let us face, without panic, the reality of our times.
Yes, I remember a time before the Silent War. Which was actually in 2016 with the release of the original Bose QC35s, which set a new stage in the wireless noise-cancelling headphone space. Since then, the Silent War has raged, with powerhouses like Sennheiser, Sony, and Bose, plus new players like Apple and Microsoft, all battling for dominance. But after valiantly soldiering on in a single direction, Bose has recently received a reinforcement that has leveled the playing field. The NC700's ultra-modern design has brought order to the opposing forces of the Sony's lightweight plasticky feel and the Sennheiser's leathers and heavy metals. But the linchpin of the NC700s is its superior noise cancelling, specifically its pass-through microphone quality, which on this front blew its competition aside.
But if you were to call me and I answered on these headphones, this is exactly what my voice would sound like.
But the fight's not over yet. There's still a stalemate for the NC top spot. The remaining two are the Sony MX3s and the Bose NC700s. Now, while the MX3s are beaten on most fronts by the 700s, it does, however, have an additional feature that Bose does not, which is a powerful in-app equalizer. But there is a small weakness to the Sony's EQ, as it isn't compatible with its own high-res Bluetooth connections, leaving customers with the choice of custom sound or quality sound. So, seeing this chink in their armor, how will Bose respond? Well, like this. Introducing the new EQ firmware update. Capitalizing on the stalemate and probably its developers in quarantine right now, Bose has released this EQ update in the form of pop-up notifications on its customers' devices all over the world, attempting to match its closest rival. Furthermore, it's important to know that people's needs have actually changed during a post-COVID world, with more and more folks using headphones for conference calls and work from home. Bose has also taken this into account with this update, bringing stability and performance improvements to its multi-point feature, which notably Sony doesn't have. Ooh, sick burn. This feature lets its users connect their headsets to multiple devices at once. Great for a work-at-home environment, from going from work to play, back to work, and then mostly work. Okay, but let's get into the app itself. If you're lucky and manage to connect to your headset and update it from 1.3 to 1.4 in one go, then you're off to a great start. But if you're like me and you had a few connection issues, then you can always manually plug your headset into your computer and download the Bose Update installer from their help page. The link will be in the description. Now, this next part might seem like I'm nitpicking at this new EQ feature, which is definitely a positive addition to Bose, but since there's so little between which brand's headset is in the lead, it really does come down to the details of this update. As we mentioned, was all that was preventing the NC700s from decisively claiming that top spot. When opening the updated Bose Music app, we see that there's no change in the interface, which is kind of strange since the EQ feature is now the most relevant feature for an app with the word music in its name. Especially with the features like Bose AI icon, which leads you to a bunch of gimmicky third-party app affiliations. I digress. The new EQ page is found under the settings icon, under the sound heading. Ooh, that's simplistic? Well, it is in contrast to the Sony MX3's EQ at least. On the plus side, I don't personally like too much choice. Here are the three dials that range between -10 to +10, which seems manageable enough, but with no presets or tips on what configurations are generally pleasant to listen to, trying to put 3 points amongst 441 options is a bit of a guessing game for me. Furthermore, Bose mentions that if you don't touch the EQ settings at all, it'll automatically adjust the EQ for you. I wonder if we can even notice a difference between the auto EQ being on and off. Leave a comment below if you could and it made a big difference to a favorite song of yours. Since sound is subjective, Bose has understandably given you an unguided freedom to just figure it out for yourself. But to make your experience a little easier with the EQ feature, I thought here at PB Tech we'd give you a few more tips. Number 1, it's a great idea to start from the treble and work your way back to the bass when adjusting the values. Number 2, usually it's a good rule to make the least dramatic adjustments to the bass, as it's the easiest one of them to get wrong and it can sound a little muddy. Fortunately, with the NC700s, the only way to go with the bass values I found was up. Number 3, personally I feel the natural EQ of the headset is well balanced and has the best sounding mids. That means you could probably safely reduce them a little bit to give the others a little bit more of a highlight. Number 4, if you want a dramatic sound, then a great value I found was treble at 3, mids at 0, and bass at 5. Give it a go. Number 5. Lastly, if you want to have even more creative control with your sound, then you can turn off any sound enhancement features for Bluetooth on your phone like Dolby Atmos or DTS-X. This should give you a cleaner sound base to work with. If during quarantine you were also thinking of getting a pair of noise-canceling headphones to turn down the kids so you can get on with your work, or vice versa, silence your busy parents so you can focus on your gaming, then look no further. Quickly on the topic of gaming, I found that if you want to use your Bose NC700s with a PS4, you can pair them to your TV if it has Bluetooth like mine, or traditionally, you can plug them in using its auxiliary cable. However, the quality built-in microphones won't work in-game chats and etc. with your mates. And the only workaround you can find is if you buy the QC25 cable sold separately. It's a shame. Come on, PS5, compatibility, it's all we want. But let's not be ageist here at the end of the video. Bose isn't just for kids and parents, it's also for grandparents. And luckily they've also updated their Simple Sync, which lets you quickly pair your NC700 headphones to other compatible Bose products, like the Soundbar 700s and 500s, or home speaker range with independent volume control, so you can play audio at the same time on both the headset and on your soundbar. That'll be great for getting that fine-tuned listening for Grandpa, right? Right, Grandpa? Right, Grandpa? That's all for now. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for all the latest in tech available in the Southern Hemisphere. Represent. See ya.